cheers as the 7 top knitters in the land prepare their needles for combat.
Hi, welcome back to Not Your Mother's Hobbies. Today we're doing our first episode of our hobby knitting circle. We're going to talk about some of my favorite fantasy. Dragonlance. Here you can see we have the Dragonlance Villains box, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Heroes box. I just don't have the box. So let's get on with that. This first miniature here is Tanis Half-Elven, leader of the Companions. I love Ral Partha. I love old style miniatures, that classic, chunky, not really finessed style of miniatures. And so knowing that Ral Partha did a set of heroes from my favorite fantasy series was just too much. I had to get it. This is Tika Whalen. You can see a lot of these are based on Larry Elmore artwork. Larry Elmore being a prolific fantasy artist, the go-to painter and illustrator for a lot of iconic Dragonlance art as well as fantasy art. Here we can see Sturm Brightblade. Look at that cheesy pose, so stiff. But I like it anyway. They got lots of detail in his armor. Here we have Riverwind. Now, Riverwind doesn't really have much Elmore art, if any. So here we can see he's got a bow and kind of Native American inspired. They're the Plains people. They're nomadic tribes. And speaking of, we have Goldmoon, princess of the Keishu people, beloved of Riverwind, holder of the crystal blue staff. I really like this because they included her lute from the intro chapters from the very beginning of the story. I really love that they included that in the sculpt. It's part of her personality that doesn't get referenced very often. One thing that I will note, when I paint her, I will be painting her like a brown person. I will not be using the artistic license of Larry Elmore. She will be native. That always bothered me. It's gorgeous and as much as I like the artwork, that's always bothered me. Here you can see we got Caramon. He's got some flashing here on these old metal sculpts. Some of the areas aren't quite perfect. I love that helmet though. Always loved that. That kind of dragon helm, I would call it, right? With the fins on it. Oh, I love that kind of stuff. So to see that they incorporated that with the miniature is really awesome. This one always reminds me of the World of Kryn book, but this is more of I think you would say this is Riceland, but I always attribute it to Riceland the Black after he's taken the black robes. Maybe it's because it reminds me of this World of Kryn art. Maybe it's because this seems a little more imposing than I would think Riceland the Red would be. Regardless, it's a very powerful pose. Here we have Lorana. Now you can see that her hand should be holding something. She comes with a Dragonlance. Now this, unfortunate or fortunate, is based off this artwork where she is battle damaged. It's like the end of the 3rd book. She's been captured. You can see her booty hanging out. I've seen a lot of people online paint that as pants. I don't see it because I know the reference, I know the art, so it's a little harder for me to separate. I will probably be painting it as a glistening bronzed booty, but that's okay because there's a surprise later. I'll show you. We have Flint here. Flint Fireforge, little dwarfy man. I love this little cheeseball pose. I love the scale of him too. He's so teeny weeny. I'm looking forward to painting this one. Flint is one of my favorite characters. He doesn't get a lot of characterization, but I don't think he needs any. He's a grumpy curmudgeon. He's the dad of the group. And I think that he serves that purpose well. Here we have Tasselhoff Burfoot. He has his little, look at the size comparison there. He's got his little hoopak. He's a teeny weeny boy. He a itty bitty baby. I really love the scale that Ral Partha managed with these hero figures. Now, it doesn't really line up when you go to like the blister box ones that they do later. Speaking of, here's a blister box. This scale gets a little, there's a bit of scale creep, but regardless, they still look awesome. This is Silvara, the silver dragon. She's looking pretty rad. She's got her cudgel, which I didn't know she had. It's not really referenced in the books. I think it's just something that they added later to the artwork. Here we have Gilthanis, or Bilthanis. as the box says. I really like this one though. They really captured that artwork quite well. His outfit has always been a favorite of mine. Just a very simple tabard kind of knightly look. Fizban the Fabulous or Paladine. This is a really awesome pose. I love how dynamic it is. He's just like ready to cast a spell, or is he pointing in the distance to guide, or is he trying to remember the words to his favorite spell? I'm not sure, but I really like the pose on that one. And that artwork, I think, really shows you what he could look like. Here we have Lord Gunther, or if you wanted, I mean, it could be a Huma, but I'm pretty sure this was a Lord Gunther figure, and we can see him riding a dragon right there. I don't know if I'll paint this as a Huma or I'll paint it as a Gunther. I think regardless, they're going to look identical. Here we go. This is the surprise. Ooh, I'm excited. This is the surprise I was talking about with Lorana's booty. You can see the difference here. This one on the left, and why I have two, is from the later blister release of the Dragonlance miniatures, and she's got her more iconic golden general outfit. I'm looking forward to painting this one up a lot. I can't wait to do, the artwork justice. I kind of wish she had her little helmet. I love that cornball helmet, but regardless, I'm glad that I have this secondary sort of Lorana. Here we have another Riceland as well. I wanted to do a Riceland the Black and a Riceland the Red. So here, this one's kind of more based off of that classic Riceland. So I get a much different impression from them. And that's really what inspired me to do, like, oh, you know what? It'd be cool to do one before he took the black robes, before he switched allegiances. And that's what that's for. You can also see, though, that there's that scale creep. He's towering over Caramon. Like, he's massive. So just don't put him side by side. You'll be fine. And that's it. That's the whole Heroes collection. I really want to paint these guys up. I'm so in love with Dragonlance, so in love with Elmore's art, so in love with Ral Partha. Finding these online when I did, like, years ago, and finding out that they even existed was such a huge deal to me. And only recently, with the encouragement from my wife and partner Maru-chan, was I even able to consider looking for and purchasing them. They're a little bit of a rare commodity, and I'm glad that I'm able to share them with you guys and kind of show you my inspirations and what gets me flaming hot Cheeto about painting miniatures. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this inaugural episode of the Hobby Knitting Circle, and I'll see you guys later. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see, what you're interested in. What do you think of old miniatures? What's your favorite old miniature? Line or figure, like, that you remember? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!